Well, good morning and welcome back. I hope you had a good Halloween. It is now time to flip the calendar into November, and we're starting off the month on a rainy note, something that we didn't have much of last month. In fact, it was the second driest October on record for Chattanooga. We only picked up 0.14 of an inch of rain, so just enough to wet the pavement. Here's a look at your radar this morning. Some heavier showers now coming down into parts of Fannin and Gilmer counties, moving from basically west to east. We also have some pretty steady rain about to move into Hamilton County. We have that coming down along portions of the Cumberland Plateau from Pikeville down to Monteagle. Also some pretty steady rain into northeast Alabama, and it's all because of this front. So we've been tracking out this front for a couple of days. Now it was giving places to our west some severe weather both yesterday and the day before, but fortunately it's not going to be dealing with any good ingredients for severe weather as it moves through, which means we're not going to be dealing with any thunder, lightning, gusty winds, or hail or tornado threat, which is always good news this time of the year because we are starting to get into that second severe weather season. But fortunately, we're just dealing with some rain this go around. Here's a look at your road conditions. Wet from Athens to Murphy to Blue Ridge to Chattanooga back into northeast Alabama. So no matter where you're traveling, if you're watching us this morning, you are going to be dealing with some wet roadways, and that's going to continue through this afternoon. And then by this evening, just in time for some Friday night football, we will gradually start to taper off of any rainfall. But here's a look at Lake Guntersville down in Scottsboro. You can see some of that rain falling. The pavement is wet. So if you are going to be traveling out in northeast Alabama, just be mindful. Like everywhere else, there's going to be some wet roadways. As for your temperatures, very mild for this time of the year. Typically, we're waking up to the 40s, but it is 66 here in Chattanooga. So feeling almost like a summer morning. 63 in Blue Ridge and 65 in Athens. Highs today generally going to be in the lower 70s. Again, with the cloud cover, we're not going to see those temperatures warm up quite as fast as they did yesterday. In fact, yesterday we actually hit 81 in Chattanooga, which wasn't a record, but still a very warm Halloween. And looking ahead over the next 6 to 10 days, really not seeing any signs that the pattern's going to significantly change, which means we're likely to be stuck in this warmer than normal temperature pattern for the next week and a half, maybe even through the middle of November before we see any kind of changes. And through next week, notice those highs are going to be in the mid to upper 70s with a few days even hitting in the 80s. By next Thursday, we're looking at 80 degrees, which will be nearly 15 degrees above normal. So here's a look at your November overview. For the first day, our average 68. Average low 45, but notice they come down into the 50s and 30s. By the end of the month, we pick up normally about 5 inches of rainfall. We'll see. It's been pretty dry over the last couple months. We lose 45 minutes of daylight, and typically our first freeze happens on November 9th here in Chattanooga and earlier for some of our higher elevations, but we still haven't had our first freeze here in Chattanooga, and it looks like it's going to be a while. But for your Friday, of course, many of you probably have plans getting ready for the weekend. We do have this front, like we just looked at a minute ago, kind of stalling out. Moisture coming up from the Gulf of Mexico. That's what's going to give us our rain for the remainder of the day. And notice through the mid-morning, still some pretty decent plumes of moisture moving across the Tennessee Valley. That'll continue until about 3 o'clock. And then after 3, it's going to become a lot more, I guess, spotty, if you want to say. It looks like most of the rain will taper off tonight, and then we'll have some fog developing by the time you wake up on Saturday morning, but the clouds are going to stick around for a better part of the weekend. So the latest model guidance is picking up on some heavier rain north of Chattanooga. I don't think we'll pick up an inch to an inch and a half, but many areas more than likely going to pick up a solid ½ of an inch of rainfall, which of course will be very beneficial considering we're still dealing with a drought across much of our coverage area. As for your highs, 72, mostly cloudy, going to have some scattered showers continuing this afternoon before gradually tapering off. Tonight, 60, patchy fog developing after midnight. And for your next 7 days, we'll have that rain again today. Slim chance of a shower for your Saturday, but looking pretty dry for your weekend. Remember, we do fall back Sunday at 2 a.m. We revert back to standard time. You do get that extra hour of sleep, and then next week we're going to continue to deal with these warmer than normal temperatures.
Okay. Okay, great. I'm looking forward to that extra hour. It's always a great day.
I need it. I need it today.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Clay.